Today we're talking about TMNT 2003 again with, I think this is episode 7 now, The Way of Invisibility, I believe was the title. And I know I've been saying this a lot, and I'm still enjoying the show, don't get me wrong, but I felt like this one was kind of weaker than I expected it to be. It was still fun. There was still some fun stuff in here. And in fact, I found this one pretty funny for one specific reason. But, I don't know, I felt like this episode could have done more than it did with what it was doing. Like, it's called The Way of Invisibility, and it opens with the turtles training to move silently and invisibly in the dark, like a true ninja. And it gives us some stuff with Shredder and the big purple dragon guy whose name I don't remember, and Baxter Stockman, where Baxter introduces new cybernetic armor enhanced foot soldiers who can turn invisible. So all they have to do is be careful to move quietly, and they've effectively cheated their way to mastery of this technique, showing the disparity in the way the two sides handle all of the ninja stuff. And Baxter's given Shredder's forces this shortcut, whereas the Turtles don't have that luxury, and yet they're still competent ninjas in their own right. So you expect that for at least one scene in this episode, something from the Turtles' training is going to allow them to react to these invisible ninjas. But at the end of the episode, when I saw that Donnie just brought out some heat goggles, some infrared goggles to let them see the ninjas, I was really disappointed. What I would have done with this episode, before I get into the specific plot, is I would have had the four turtles trying to get a one-up on each other by moving invisibly. Like maybe the first one to tag Splinter wins something, like a day off of hard training or something. And so they're also trying to move silently enough that the others don't know where they are, or else they can try to like knock them over or whatever, right? Because they're fighting on top of these bamboo stick things. And I would have had it so that none of them really got it. And then in the end of the episode, I would have had one of them lose their goggles and have to detect the ninjas, the invisible ninjas, with their ninja senses for just like one exchange of blows. And that's it. That's all this episode needed, was something like that. I don't know what this is. No idea. But the rest of the episode was pretty okay. Though I have to say, man, Shredder's really freaking stupid. Like, he's addressing the existence of the Turtles. He wants to know who they are and what they are and where they came from and why they're opposing him. And so he puts the big guy and Baxter on it. And they immediately start presenting what they think, what ideas they have for who the Turtles might be. Like, people trained by old enemies of the Shredder, which, I mean, they are. And kind of. I would assume, still in this continuity, right? Or Baxter's like, government experiments, I think is what he said. It doesn't matter. And Shredder's like, I don't want theories, I just want answers. But, Shredder, dude, my man. That's how you get answers in a situation like this. You hypothesize as to what the answer might be, and then you pursue that answer until you've falsified it. Like, you do want theories. They were giving you solid places to start, and you just dismissed them. He came off as so stupid in that scene. I laughed out loud and said, damn, he's stupid. Out loud to myself. My dogs jumped. It was so sudden. And, like, I know this version of the Shredder is threatening in his own unique ways, different from some of the other versions I've encountered before. I'm looking forward to getting to the reveal of that. I do know what it is, but I'm not going to say. So I have to say, seeing how just incredibly short-sighted he was in that scene for that brief exchange of dialogue, it made him seem so much less threatening than he had already seemed to be in the show so far. Like, it sounded like the kind of really stupid thing that the old 80s show version of the Shredder would have said. to show that he's an incompetent villain so that the kids don't get too scared. It was embarrassing for him. Though maybe that was on purpose, because this plot where the Foot and the Purple Dragons are basically doing anything they can to find the turtles and figure out what they are, up to and including, like, torture and live dissection of any of the turtles that they capture. So, like, maybe they wanted us to think that the Shredder was a little less competent than they had been portraying him up to this point, so that we wouldn't get too weirded out when the rest of the plot of this episode is that Casey's a doofus. Like, it goes from this really serious thing to clowning on Casey for the entire episode. He shows up at the lair because the turtles told him where the lair is, and immediately he just starts bumbling around trashing stuff to the point where they want him to leave, but they don't know how to ask him to leave. And it gets so bad that even though he has brought them intelligence that says that the Foot is gunning for them specifically now, making this a very dangerous time for them to go topside until they know more about what's going on, he gets so annoying that Raph actually leaves. Like, he leaves with Casey, but, like, Casey annoyed him to the point of literally putting his life in danger. And that is simultaneously horrifying, and kind of a terrible weight to put on Casey's character, and hilarious. And I applaud the episode for balancing those things as well as it did. So, of course, Raph does get captured, and while he is competent enough to escape, and now he might have a little bit of extra intelligence regarding who's looking for them, we'll have to see if that comes up in future episodes. Like, at the very least, he knows that the Purple Dragons are involved in this, and the fact that there were invisible foot ninjas at the end. Like, there are dots that should be connectable at this point, right? The evidence of this confluence of this street gang, this ninja clan, and a tech expert like Baxter, like, it's all there. The evidence for it is all there. And the others are able to intercept those invisible ninjas when they try to follow Raph back home using some of Donnie's tech. So in the end, everything works out, and it does seem like it's progressed the story a bit. But, like, I don't know. I feel like it could have wrapped itself up in a neater little package there. Like the little ending bit where they finally shove Casey out the door was, again, pretty funny. But, like, tonally, it's so detached from what the rest of this episode was trying to do. I don't know, it didn't gel well, right? Overall, the episode still worked, but it didn't feel as complete as it could have. Just the stuff I mentioned before that I would have done differently to give this episode more of a through line, I think would have done such a good job of bringing it all together, bringing it all home. Like, I don't mean to keep comparing this show to the 2012 show, but in the 2012 show, Splinter immediately would have warned them that if they're still going to go to the surface while someone is specifically gunning for them, they need to be careful and giving them things to consider while they're there. But he doesn't even react here. Like, there's no reaction from him at all. To, like, it was graffiti. It was, I've probably shown it in the video by now. It was specifically graffiti of his 4 sons being skewered by a sword. Like, I know this show gets better. I know it does. And not that it's terrible now, but I know that it gets better. Because I remember better episodes, and you guys have assured me that it gets better, but right now it feels like this stuff is just happening because they need stuff to happen in the episodes. It doesn't really feel like they understand what their specific direction for the show is yet. Like, I don't know. I'm probably really overthinking this. I feel like this show could be doing more. I feel like there have even been other Turtles shows that did more with its stories, even very similar ones to this. And while again, I am enjoying watching this show, it's still a good-looking show with some sharp voice acting and some really cool action sequences. I just can't help but feel like it could be even better. You guys know how much I dislike Wasted Potential. I didn't hate the episode. I want to be clear about that. I did not hate this episode. Even though I felt like the tones of the A and B plots were a little out of sync with each other, I still found both of them entertaining, and the stuff with Casey was pretty funny. I just feel like the episode still could have been more. Still could have done more. But what do you guys think of The Way of Invisibility if you have seen it? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, you might as well like the video, share it with anyone else who think you can enjoy my content, subscribe if you haven't. You can also check out links to my various social medias as well as the many ways you can help out the channel. Those will be in the video description. But either way, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.